Hello and welcome to another episode of View from the Sheds. This week we carried on with our Zoom call series and we caught up with Sandbach's chairman, vice chairman, club president, first team manager and also a past chairman. Keep watching to find out what the guys had to say about their own rugby careers, a bit of history about the club, how they ended up at Sandbach and also how many times Belly mentions Yorkshire. Good evening fellas, how are we all doing?
Good. Excellent.
Yeah, good, thanks, great.
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Pubs are open, mate. We're all right now.
Say, is everyone cope with lockdown?
Yeah, it's been a struggle, but I've worked 24/7. So
You worked 24th of the 7th, did you say?
Yeah, exactly. Have you got subtitles for Belly?
Yeah. No. I was in Yorkshire last 2 days, mate. I had some sensible conversation and some decent beer.
Yeah.
Is there an air bridge jumping from Yorkshire back to Cheshire or not?
Is what, sorry?
There an air bridge?
No.
There should be. Anyway.
So obviously the
long 45 minutes.
yeah, very. So the club opened at the weekend, the first time since this pandemic all kicked off. Did we all get down there? I think I saw most of us there.
Yeah, we got down there. It was excellent, wasn't it, really? It was a really, really good day. It's great to see so many people smiling. It was good.
Were you smiling, Thomas? You weren't smiling, Thomas. It was a very well organised event. It was good.
If you'd bought a beer, I would have smiled, but
I actually bought a lot of beer, but I played by cards, so I don't know how much I spent.
Oh, right. Okay.
How much I spent? Too much. 84 quid.
Yeah. It was good, though. It was great.
And how was your cycle back, Mo? I think it was quite interesting, wasn't it?
Not very good at all.
Well, you made it back, obviously, so that's a positive.
Yes. After falling off.
Yeah, I witnessed the falling off, pal. I'm not going to lie.
Still suffering now.
So, how's everyone coped with the club not being open? Obviously, it's quite a big part of everyone on this call's lives. How have we coped, Brooksy? How have you got on?
I think we've all coped very well, haven't we, Thomas? I mean, we've saved a lot of money.
Are you Brooksy?
We've saved a lot of money. It's been a bit of a nightmare, don't it? I mean, a Saturday's the same as a Sunday now. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Luke. It's been quite difficult, really, at the end of the day, because it is the focal point of your week. Looking forward to going to the weekend and meeting everyone and the interaction. And obviously, at the end of the day, we've had a cracking season, so it was just a shame it was sort of pulled short at the end of the day. But we do the right thing, and looks like we're on the road back to it. So fingers crossed.
And Pad, about yourself, how have you found it? Obviously, you're pretty much your second home, Sandbach. So how have you found it?
Yeah, it's been a bit like Groundhog Day, to be honest. So it's not been great. The rugby gives me a lot of structure, so unfortunately I've had to do loads of DIY, which generally stands for don't involve yourself for me. But yeah, so I've been painting and things like that, and finding old bits of fluff then stuck to my paint, trying to do my lawn, get rid of moss. But apart from them sort of jobs, yeah, it's not great, but we are where we are.
It seems like it's starting to pick up as well. So Mo, have you been decorating your house as if it's the changing rooms?
No, I've been decorating. I've walked past the club every day just to make sure things are all right. I had a quick look in the changing rooms a time or two, but just not doing a lot. Walking mainly, walking and eating, and no drinking.
Excellent, Mo. Well done, Mo.
About yourself, Belly, you mentioned you got back to God's own, Yorkshire and whatnot.
Well, it's the second time, mate. You couldn't travel, wasn't it? It was a nightmare. Yeah, it's been all right. Golf courses are open now. Pubs are open now. We just did a bit of rugby. I'm sick of watching rugby on television. Bloody hell. Sick of watching.
You're going to need subtitles.
Pardon? No, it's been a long time, sort of dragging on. Every day is the same. That's the problem.
Yeah.
When you're not working, of course.
Paul, obviously, current chairman. How's the club looking? Is it?
It's okay. I've had lots of phone calls saying that somebody looks like Mo keeps walking around the pitches of the clubhouse every day. So we ring the police. But no, it's going all right. It's going all right. I mean, as Andy's already said, we're in a solid position now. We've done obviously our income stream dropped through the floor when it first happened, but we'll come out of it in a solid financial state and ready for rugby. So yeah, it's all looking good, to be honest with you. I think hopefully we'll get some rugby October time and we'll be ready to go. So yeah, all good.
It is, and obviously from a playing side, we've started this week. So is there any sort of events coming up at the club, or is that really a bit too early to sort of say?
Probably a bit too early at the moment. We are looking at it at the moment. So yeah, the thing is we can't put too many events on because of obviously social distancing. But hopefully the clubhouses have open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So get yourselves down there, have a few beers, and it'll help the club.
Happy days.
And the wife's already told me, get down the club.
Yeah.
She's had enough.
Yeah.
Is that an instruction, somewhere? Because I can tell Irene that I've been told I've got to go down for a few beers.
Yeah. The wife's already said that to me. She's had enough of me. It took one day. So yeah. But yeah, it's looking good.
Right, so we'll move into a bit of a quick fire, getting to know you sort of thing. So there might be some people out there that don't know the guys on the call. I'm pretty lucky that I know you all, but I wouldn't say I know your sort of backgrounds too much. So Brooksy, how did you get into rugby? How did you end up at Sandbach? What position did you play? Any sort of fond memories, games, rep honours, anything like that?
Well, ultimately, I didn't have a choice to get involved with rugby because my father started the mini juniors down at Sandbach Rugby Club. So I went from birth pretty much every day because my mother didn't want to see us on a Sunday. So pretty much played down there since the age of 4 all the way through. Loved it. It's obviously been my life and do it, every weekend. So it's really good. Position. Primarily back row, number 8. Occasionally, in my younger days, on the wing for the second team when you could play senior rugby at the age of 15 and 16. So no, it was good for me. Fond memories. Obviously, played with lots of different players throughout the years. Belly, Pad, you, Luke. So at the end of the day, very lucky in that way. And couldn't pick between you all. You were all superstars. But I think winning for me, my Colts year 88, 89, winning the Potteries Cup was excellent. Really, really highlight. And just enjoy playing rugby. And then I suppose the biggest highlight was November 18. Playing rugby with both of my boys in the second team. That was a massive highlight for me and sort of hung my boots up then, I think. So, yeah.
Never say never.
No, that's true. That's true. Certainly don't want to run touch, Pat, by the way. Don't want to run touch. So. Play county rugby at under 16 level. Quite proud. Made my first team debut at Haywood Road. One very cold winter's night, so I assume it was a weekday match, so I assume they were short. That's why they threw a 17 or 18-year-old, whatever it was, into it at that age. But fond memories, all of them.
What's your current role at the club?
I'm vice chairman, so basically just stand back and clap when Paul does something right and disown him when he does something wrong, and that's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
Just coasting behind him.
Keep your hands in your pocket.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a Yorkshireman talking.
But no, I've played in, I would say I have played in every team at Sandbach, from under 6s and 16, 15, all of them. Coached pretty much from under 8s all the way through to senior Colts. So, yeah, love the club, love rugby. at the end of the day.
Pretty good history, to be fair.
Yes.
Yeah. Pad, go on. Same sort of questions aimed at yourself.
This might take a while.
Right, hang on, I've got me. Look, I've got me egg timer, mate. I'll start it.
Fair enough. Again, started at age of 12 at the school, Sandbach School. 2 elder brothers players, who were good players. Reg was school captain and went off and played for Wasps or whatever. Colin, both played the club first. Colin went off and played at Winslow and played for the county as well. So it was a natural progression really for me. So I was in the first team at school at 15, I think, something like that. Then made my debut for the seconds at 16, and my first team debut, like Andy, at Aywood Road when I was about, I think I just turned 17, something like that, Easter sort of time. And that's against Sale 2s. It'd be a bit like the Jets. But I was Colts captain down. Colts had only just about started then, and played at. I was captain at university. Played a few different places because in them days you wanted to sort of progress. Like for county type honours, you had to play at a certain sort of level. Usually, guys who played in the northern merit table. So I played at Winslow for a little bit, and had a few things happen in my life, various bits and pieces, including dislocating my shoulder, so I needed that operated on to get that fixed. And then I came back to Sandbach and captain for 3 years. I think I had a spell where I think I got promoted 5 years on the trot for various different things. That either 4 at Sandbach and 1 when I did a season at Eccleshall because I was living down there with work, and then came back and did another couple of years. Then I've coached the Colts, coached the first team, been director of rugby, and I'm president now. So quite a few bits and pieces over the time. So yeah. So honours, I played for the UAU when I was at university, which is a bit like English students. And I said I didn't quite get a county cap. I ended up sort of playing for Cheshire Presidents or something like that. So that's my sort of career. But and I think I finished playing in the first team when I was sort of like coaching. I played probably about 40, but I'm sure Belly was older than that when he was playing in the first team when he finished.
I think you have quite a heavy role with sort of player sort of liaison. I think a lot of the lads in the senior squads would know who you are, and talk through a bit of your role within the club, what you sort of tend to do.
Yeah, I mean, I do quite a few bits and pieces. Generally speaking, I prefer the playing side of things to maybe some of the other bits. But as you know, discipline is one of my bits, Butty, because you've been sent off before now. And so I'm discipline officer for one. I do player registrations, match reports. Generally do the stats for the first team games. All the stuff. Scrums won, lineouts won, that sort of stuff, penalties, why we give them away. During the week, I generally keep the website updated with various bits, team selections and the like, or sort the buses out, all that sort of admin type stuff. And on a Saturday, I also speak to the local radio, so I normally speak 2 or 3 times to Silk FM during the game, and it looks like we might actually be doing a bit more with Cat FM as well. So various bits and pieces to do, bits for the programme. If you see that all yesterday's stuff, I generally pull that together as well. So yeah, just keeps me busy really.
Right, Mo, obviously I know you through being the sort of kit man and the guy that sorts the boys out every week. How did you end up at the club? What was your sort of route in and your role within the sort of senior setup?
First thing, I've never played a game of rugby in my life. I got into rugby about 30 years ago when all the footballers were all fighting, and I thought I needed a change. And then my youngest lad, he started with under 6s with Andy's lad. And then basically when I got divorced, I got bullied into being first team manager, or what they like to call me, the first team bitch. And basically, I look after the kit, keep the lads in order, make a brew, and various other things. So yeah, I really enjoy being the manager. They give me some stick, but I love every minute of it, and I wouldn't be without them. They've taught me a lot, a hell of a lot. So, and Sandbach is probably the best club that we visit or we get involved with, and I really enjoy it.
I say the boys love having you around on match days and in the week, and obviously we turn up. Just if people don't know, you turn up on a Saturday, all your kit's laid out, everything's sorted, and yeah, mate, you do an awesome job.
Tell you what I do. I can tell you what I do if you want to.
Yeah, mate, fire in.
Yeah, well, so you see, for a home game, usually on a Friday night, I go and put all the kit out, and then Saturday morning, first thing, I go to the gym, and then usually Monty turns up for breakfast or brunch, and then I feed him, make sure he's powered up, ready for action, and then I'm going to get down the club about 12:30, get the brew on, get all the kit out, just make everything ready for the lads to get in there. And then I normally have a quick pint when they're all out doing the training, and then normally about 2:30 before kick-off, the ball boys turn up, so I get them in the hut, get a picture, and then I normally take them around the changing rooms and show them what happens on match day, what the physios do and everything. And then as the match gets nearer, I get all the kit all in, match balls ready, pumped up, and then we're out on the pitch. I do the water. I won't let anybody else do the water. And then after the game, I do all the sweeping up, put all the kit away, sweep all the changing rooms. And then usually when the presentation for man of the match is finished, I appear around the corner and have a pint with the lads. And then on an away day, on a Friday night, I usually go and get the beer, most important job. And again on a Saturday, gym, breakfast for Monty and me. And then we're load the coach up and then off we go. And then when we come back off the coach, everything back in the changing rooms, ready for the next time, if I'm sober enough. So yeah, by the time Saturday night comes, I'm knackered. I do normally about 15,000 steps on a Saturday with the gym and running around all around the field. So no, it's good. Keeps me out of mischief. And then usually I sometimes go around again and see the kids and just make sure everything's all right, make sure the changing rooms are all tidied up and nobody's wrecked them. So no, it's good. Really enjoy it. This is my 6th season. So.
Top man, Mo. Top man, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
I'll retire one day.
any favourite away days? Any favourite away?
Favourite away days? I think probably Scunthorpe is usually a good day out. Yeah, they're probably the best ones to go to. Also, as well, the worst place we go to is probably Peterborough because it's a long way and it's not the nicest of places. But no, it's they're all pretty good, to be fair.
Happy days, mate. Go on then, Paul. Sort of similar questions to yourself.
Well, yeah, I'm Welsh, obviously. Came from Wales, moved up when I was a teenager. Only lasted 2 or 3 years. Went away to uni, played rugby at school here at uni. Did a bit of rugby after, but then work intervened 24/7. Like I said before, nobody believes me, but you know, it's every minute was done. Moved back to Sandbach.
What position did you play, Paul?
Sorry?
What position did you play?
It was kit man.
People don't believe me. I played fullback, but I bulked up since I'm in the gym fairly often, as you can tell. So nobody believes that. I mean, you know, hours in the gym and you bulk up.
It was a team roller. They rolled the pitch with him.
Hey, Bill, you'll get your turn in a section. Anyway, and so, yeah, I moved back up to Sandbach when I was around 40, really. And by then, my father had been heavily involved as president, and I sort of rolled back into the club, really, and got involved. So that's my role, really. I mean, I'm not as good as rugby players. These boys, you know, Paddy, you like a salmon in the line out, and Phil never got the pass bell, but as he tells me. But yeah, it was. I loved it. Loved the game, and I love being chairman of Sandbach. Fabulous.
How long have you been? Is this your second, third year?
No, first year. This is my first season. I was 3 years of ice.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, Belly, we'll tie
Oh,
in
now
to
what
you.
do we ask him what he does on match day? That'll be a good
Well,
question.
yeah,
No.
go on.
I used to do a lot on match days, but not now.
What I do on match days, I get there about
Jim?
midday, and I usually buy whoever's at the bar a pint, and then I buy the Alacadoos of the club coming, opposition, whoever they are. I buy them a few beers, and then I eat with them. It's just really hard. I tell you, you think it's easy, but it's not. I tell you now. And then I watch the game, and then I have a few more beers with their Alacadoos, and when they leave, I have a few more beers with the normal crowd, and then I walk home. And I tell you what, it's not easy.
You're not selling this. You're not selling this role of chairman at all.
No, not am I really. But yeah, but also on match day, if there's any problems on match day, guess who they come to. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's great. I love Saturdays at the club, and I love the away days. All the big clubs we go to, like Doncaster, great club. And although it's too close to Yorkshire, well, it's actually in Yorkshire. But
It's in Yorkshire.
I know. I try and take that from my mind, to be honest, when we get into Yorkshire. Because every time we're on the bus going into over the border into Yorkshire, Bally's like, open the door, get the air in, let's get the fresh air, let's get the Yorkshire air in. Yes. So,
What happened when we went to Doncaster this season? Oh, we won. Sorry, I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah. They were
we
very
did.
good.
First time, I think, winning up there.
Yeah.
First time, yeah.
Home and away.
I-
So, great.
Home and
To
away,
be
yeah.
honest, my favourite game of the season, because we've been on the roll of snatching victory defeat at the jaws of victory for a few games, and to go up there and the shift that the lads put in Doncaster was unreal.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Such a relief, but
Yeah, it was a great day. Yeah. It always makes the bus journey back worthwhile.
definitely.
So yeah, always helps.
And go on then, Belly. You can finish us off.
All right. Hang on, this
Okay.
might be awkward now.
I'm just getting my egg timer going, mate. It's a big one. So from Leeds, obviously, I was a rugby league family. My two older brothers played rugby league. So I was brought up with a rugby league background. Started playing when I was 9, number 6, which don't get excited. It wasn't back row, it was standoff. Played to school, obviously. Then in them days, as Paddy knows, 11 plus, you passed 11 plus, you went to a grammar school. And from there on, it was rugby union. So played for my local old boys team for 2 years. Got a Yorkshire trial. Was told I had to go to what in them days were called senior clubs. So I went to Roundy, which is now Yorkshire Carnegie. After a couple of years, I got a Yorkshire trial. So then I played for Yorkshire got my cap in 70, 71. You had to play X number of games in a season, championship games, to get the cap. First game was against Cheshire, actually. What else you got on your list?
Got a list.
So I had to move into centre, and then I got picked for Yorkshire on the wing. So then I became a winger, and then years later, when my legs went, I moved back into centre, then back into standoff and all that sort of stuff. Coming to Sandbach, came across with BT, working in Warrington. Joined the club. It was like most rugby clubs, a very friendly club. I actually thought everyone was called Davenport and Birtles when I joined. They were all into it. They all had 3 noses and 7 ears. And but it was a very, very friendly club. And we're lucky though much that the club is like 5 minutes walk from town. So you have a few beers there, and then you used to walk into town. In them days it was the Wheat Sheaf, and that was like a second home. And it was a really very, very friendly club. In terms of rep honours, I told you, play for Yorkshire. Biggest things in them days, the Yorkshire Cup was massive. So because if you won it, you got in the John Player Cup the following season, which was all televised and all that sort of stuff. And so we had a few losses and a few wins, and they used to get big crowds, 10,000. People please outside Otley, climbing trees trying to watch the game. It was crazy. Came to Sandbach, like I said. I was a player, then I was coach. I think, was I coach when you were captain, Paddy?
Yeah,
You were captain about 20 years, weren't you?
that when we got promoted to North 2, which is probably similar to level what we play at now in terms of numbers of clubs where we were at. So yeah.
So that was So in terms of, I'm looking at your list. In terms of rugby, obviously playing for Yorkshire, winning Yorkshire Cups, that sort of stuff. At Sandbach, coach, player, then chairman. And probably the biggest thing for me at Sandbach was when my first year, you just got promoted to Northwest 1. And we struggled that year. We just kept in, I think. We beat Rochdale away, I think that's the last game of the season to stay in. And the following year, we went berserk. We won the league and got into North 2 with teams like Wharfdale and Huddersfield, Halifax, all that sort of lot. And that was good. What else you got? So role at Sandbach now, you've said, I'll tell you what it was. Interest outside of rugby. Play golf. I got the lower checker. I got the club. I have 155 grandkids. But it's good. I mean, rugby's the same everywhere, really, and it's a big family, and you just get stuck in and have a few beers and talk about the good old days, you know. But it's nice to see the club now with so many kids. So, you know, that's great. Because when we came, as Brookie said, his father started in the juniors. That was what, about 25 years ago, maybe? So, was it more than that? Okay. Now, I mean, now there's maybe hundreds of them. You can't walk through town now without seeing 10 kids in Sandbach tops, which is great, you know. Yeah, so there, yeah. So.
Right. Excellent. Welcome back to part 2. And Pad, we're gonna jump straight in with you. If you could give us a bit of a history of the club. Again, we're all sort of either Sandbach through and through or sort of come late on. But I'll be honest, personally, I only know the sort of recent history of the club. So if you want to fire out some of the stats from the past or how it started or what leagues we've been in.
Yeah, that's, I'm certainly no expert. Andy Maddox probably knows a lot more than me, but it was back in 1936, I think, when the club very first started. And it was a true old boys club, you know, that basically it was former pupils of Sandbach School. But it didn't last that long because of the Second World War. So obviously that was only 3 years or so. So the club went defunct. And then it restarted again in 1956, the year I was born, actually. And big drivers for that were Reg Dunning, who unfortunately passed away, actually, last week. He was the secretary. And a chap called Derek Chaddock, who was captain. And he was quite involved in setting up the Colts side when I first started playing. So that was back in 1956. And I think in 1960, they made it an open club, which means you didn't have to be from the school, which obviously has consequences now. That means Belly-con joins us, and that's, you know, that's a major effect. But obviously that improved the club as well. But it was a fairly typical old boys club. The standard wasn't great. In fact, the school used to play the old boys, and it was a fairly even match as such. So that tells you the sort of standard. The other thing which was not unusual, and we talk about playing when you were sort of 15 or 16. Remember, you could leave school at 16, and guys were then naturally joining the local club and playing rugby straight away at the age of 16. So I think the club, initially the club was sort of based in the Iron Grey on Middlewich Road, a pub that's shut about 10 years ago. A lot of us will remember the Iron Grey because we used to crawl in there last game of the season on the pub crawl around the town.
Yeah.
Very famous pub. Opposite Aldi is now. And then we got the what was then the new clubhouse, or it was like a terrapin building on Middlewich Road, which is where an estate opposite the girls' school now, is where that was. And we played on the school pitches. Now, I think when we got to about 1970, the school was starting to kick off a bit, saying that you know, ruining their pitches and everything. So we started looking for a new ground, and it took us about 10 years of various things, fundraising and everything, to eventually get the ground at Bradwell Road. So I think that was opened officially, I think, in 1980 on the 4th of October is when that all started, and it's grown and grown even then. So to my knowledge, that clubhouse has been extended probably 4 or 5 times, and had various bits, whether it's the changing rooms or important things like extending the bar and all these kind of things. And one time a day when I was playing, it had a multi-gym and a sauna. What is now the first team. Yeah, I know, that was
I remember it, yeah.
Aggressive step, wasn't it? Not having the sauna anymore, which is now where the physio room is. And similarly, at that time as well, when we moved to what is Bradwell Road, the side was really booming. There'd been a very good school side for 2 or 3 years, which probably year above me, our year. We were unbeaten at school in our year. We won the Cheshire, the Manchester Cup, unbeaten the year after, and they won the Manchester Cup. And the core of that side played for the next 15 years or something like that. That's where we got to North 2. But I think we then had a bit of a spell in the doldrums, probably in the 90s. It's when professionalism was coming in. That old side had retired. We were all sort of a bit 40 by then, something like that. Some of our better players were then moving on to other clubs to play a different standard. And I think it was more around about 2000 that the likes of Tim Jones's lot and Oaksey and all those sort of guys, the infamous sort of calendar boys, the Colts calendar boys, were starting to come through, and that was a decent side. And though we dropped 3 or 4 leagues down, that created the momentum. And then you've had the likes of your footy, so there's a good generation over after 3 or 4 years. And a lot of these are probably sons of guys that we played with or whatever. So, yeah. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as the clubhouse is concerned, I mean, we got the chance to rent the further pitches, so there's 6 pitches now. To my knowledge, we've had about 3 different sets of floodlights, and one of the major drivers, I think, round about 2000, the same time, Jack McAvoy and Matt Alton probably started it, but Rob Mayer and John Stubbs and a lot of other guys, not just those 2, but they're very much the drivers of the improvements to the infrastructure. And the side's gone from strength to strength on that, really. And the mini rugby is a massive thing now. And the school obviously all still provides good players, but that's where our players come from. And, the model's been proven very successful. I still think we punch well above our weight, really, considering, half the sides in our leagues pay money whether they fully admit it or not. That's the reality of it. But, I think we can provide a lot of other things, besides anyway. But I think that the streets ahead of other clubs. So, if you want to improve, we're the place to be without that.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get Rob couldn't be with us tonight, because he was sort of in charge of when I was sort of coming through, and there seemed to be a real sort of shift in momentum from when I was sort of in the juniors up into seniors, of a real good squad, and the pitch is getting developed, and really lucky now. If you actually look at what we've got on the pitches that are available to us, it's unreal, isn't it? Really, pitches even now pre-season are in unreal condition.
Pitches are immaculate, aren't they? They're like a bowling green. They're fabulous.
Yeah, there was
really good.
There was an aerial shot on social media, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Just absolutely breathtaking. Like a country estate almost that you're looking down on.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think you need to get Elvis on here and give him an interview as well.
You need to go and talk to Elvis, Thomas. I became an expert in grass care and when to put weed killer on and when to cut them and how long to cut them. You need to go and have a chat to him every day.
Well, every time I see Elvis, he goes, "Thank God that belly's left."
I was just going to say that, Rob Mayer, I recall again when I was first captain that when he took over as treasurer, we were overdrawn all the time. So he's a cute guy. I always tell the tale of we used to, players even serve behind the bar, for instance, and because we're overdrawn, we then used to just put the bar takings in at the bank, and it cost us money every time they did that. So in fact, it was costing us more to put the money in than what we were saving. But in no time, he'd sorted that out. He'd worked out the optimum time to put the money in. He delayed paying any of the bills until we got a red demand, like for gas and electric. And in no time, we reduced all that. The major cost for us was interest. So he's a cute guy financially, is Rob, and people worked hard as well in the same way. But stock taking and the bar, all sorts of things which he introduced to stop, guys having to swift half on the slide, all these things. He tidied up, and that was a big driver, really.
Yeah, very big ticks for the ground staff as well, Elvis. And is it just Elvis on his own, or?
Yeah, just Elvis.
Yeah.
Rob Perkins.
Rob Perkins is the ground secretary, and he helps.
Yeah, Rob does a lot of good work. Yeah.
Yeah,
But all the physical stuff is Elvis.
And obviously, Belly, you've got an end named after you as well, or a section?
Oh, what, sorry?
You've got the bell end.
The bell end. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That was the Bennett that did that, unknown to me. As Paul was saying, being chairman is quite time consuming, but there's a lot of positives, and I think me and Paul, and no doubt Brookie will do it as well, sort of kept going what Robin had started and making it a very nice place for visitors to come to. And we got a load of good press, from various clubs about quality of the food and how much beer we bought them and all that sort of stuff. I know quirky members, as they called it, which is really the sort about Gitz, with his hip flask and his growler and all that sort of stuff. So that was good. And I think in my time, the thing that I was quite pleased with, we got the gym sorted out. So we got that built, and that's a big asset to the club. To help me out a few and Sam of Abicus, we got the girls section started, which I don't know what's going to happen next year, but they're all coming to 18, I think now, most of them. And I think also as Paddy's continued it last year and Paul this year, we tried to get a bit more inclusive, so we involve the second and third team. So like Paddy does the man at match, but also man at match for the Stormers, so they're not forgotten. And I think it's good, so we've actually, Paul will do the same thing. You build on what you've had previously and then just try and make it better. So his bit now is to actually build a clubhouse again, I suppose.
Improve on Belly.
Yeah, no, improve on the clubhouse.
I'm not sure that's possible, mate.
No, I mean, but like I say, the quality of the grounds, because we've got so many, we can rotate it quite well. So, we can stop first team games on the first team pick, whatever it is. So we can actually rotate and actually ease the wear and tear. And they're all, as you say, they're all like Premiership football grounds, or pitches, should I say.
Just touch on the girls side of it. I mean, I'm not too clued up on it, but certainly seen a lot of stuff in there. It's been a pretty big success, and a lot of girls going on to the sort of the Cheshire reps and things like that. So, yeah, fingers crossed that carries on next year. I don't know if there's any plans for it. I don't know if both you knew.
It's something we're going to build on. We want to build on. It's just that we've got a girls section probably all virtually coming to senior level. So it's and we obviously haven't got a senior team at the moment. So but it's something we are looking to start and to build on over the next season or two, really. So yeah, there's plans in motion, should we say? Well, going to be plans in motion. Yeah.
Right, this one caused plenty of controversy on the old Facebook and Instagram over the sort of start of lockdown. The best ever Sandbach, or each position Sandbach best over the years. There was plenty of vocal support or negatives from the people in the group. So I just thought we'd carry on that sort of argument or discussion over who the sort of best players were for a Sandbach over the last, well, I don't know, however long. Certainly there was some Davenports and plenty of Birtles chucked in there, and Dark Arts was mentioned quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it depends a little bit how you define best player, I think, because you can have longevity, all sorts of different things. Without doubt, played with some great players. The guy who always sticks in my mind, he didn't play very long at all, was a lad called Jim Stout, and he was an Old Sage schoolboy, but not school, Old Sage college lad. But he played either on the wing or fly off. A very, very talented lad, really quiet guy. And he scored a couple of tries. I've just never seen the likes of ever at Sandbach, even now. And there's one, I think, against Liverpool, but he literally ran from, I think, R22 and probably beat the whole of their side on his own, just ran sidestepping and accelerating away. Superb player he was.
Where did he go to, Pad?
Well, I think he was a lad from Penrith, so he returned back to Penrith, but I don't think he played too much after college. He was a really laid-back sort of guy, and he was a bit ambivalent where he played, but he was superb. I've never seen a player like him since, but a very, very good player. And we've had some quality players. He stands out in my mind, but very few guys will remember him unless they play with him.
Brooksy, give us your one.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Obviously, Pad's got to be up there with his line out jumping before you can lift Bill Caddy and all of that. Like frozen, but But no, it's really, really difficult to go. That if you take the props scenario, Mint Ball was just a club legend and a club favourite, and you look at him, but you'd also got Bruffy, who I just thought was an absolutely outstanding prop, and then you've got Monty, who I coached, not in propping or anything. I might have helped with the drinking bits coaching, but that and the eating bit, but that was about it. But so you just look, how can you choose between those? And I think ultimately that's when I dipped out at prop of choosing my best 15, to be honest. But you look and as you say, best players and paddle know. You take someone like my brother, who some people say one of the best players to grace a Sandbach rugby pitch, and other people say complete wasted his talent. For me, I'm obviously a bit biased, and it came out there. But one that sort of from my era that I'll stick to, and maybe he wasn't a flash player or anything. A lad called Mike Cole, who played first team quite a bit at fullback, and he was just quite amazing. He just all of a sudden coasted into a line and burst through to make the most amazing amount of space, and he didn't look like he was moving at all. He was just Mr. Cool and just did it. And the same in defence. You could think a winger was going to get it, and he'd just be coasting along, and all of a sudden he'd snap him in half. It was just he'd be one I picked from my sort of era. So where we're at.
Mo, do you want to? And obviously,
Maybe I haven't been at it long enough to say. Well, really, I wouldn't want to say. I mean, Monty's definitely one of the best players I've seen on our pitch, along with Josh Brown. But that's really all I can say, because I've not really been there that long to look at the first team and really get to know people. So,
yeah, I think certainly the last, I don't know, sort of 3, 4, 5 years, certainly Monty's come on. He's probably one of the best in the league. And then sadly, obviously Brownie that's leaving this year, he's probably carried us. I think the last 2 years. I think he scored. I'm sure he had something like 9 tries, something maybe even more.
Yeah. Oh, tremendous player. I mean, he'll go. He deserves his opportunity in National 1. I mean, and he'll do well there. I mean, he's a really, really good player. I mean, he won man of the match constantly, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I was chairman and nominated him as well, and I sponsored him as well, so I always got my name mentioned. It was great,
Yeah.
It was a man of the match, Josh Brown, sponsored by chairman. Great. So yeah, but a tremendous player, Josh Brown.
I mean, it might not be a bad thing to mention, I don't know, but all the players that have played for top clubs like Cliffy and Gaskell and Holmes and all that, it might be just somebody say words about them, because I think that's a quite achievement for a club and a school to have.
Yeah, brilliant. Hopefully they'll all come back one day. But, you know, and I sit and drink with some really great rugby players if you listen to them, you know. I mean, Belly said never dropped a pass.
No, dropped one. The sun was very low that day.
Oh, the sun was low, yeah. You know, Colin Drew, nobody ever out-scrummaged Colin Drew, and he was fit. Could have played higher, so he tells me. Tim Birtles, Surge, they call him. I mean, you know, I just didn't see them play, but I'd love to see these boys play because, you know, they tell me every Friday how good they were.
So what time in the drinking session was it that they were?
Oh, we're talking after about 5 pints, you know, obviously, you know, it's that sort of level.
What I always find is lovely is you look at some of these social media pictures that go out, whether they're unfortunately sad occasions or whatever, of teams years gone by, and you actually just look at how many are still down watching the current first team on a Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, and it's absolutely brilliant. That's one thing that I believe we have right. You know, that we are that welcoming club that people want to come back. People want to pop and visit, even if they're only here visiting family. They want to come down. It is quite amazing setup, and it's a testament to all the teams that have played and all the players.
Yeah, definitely.
I just checked on Brown. 11 tries he scored last season, Brownie.
Yeah, there you go.
Top try scorer.
A bit disappointed you didn't know off the top of your head.
Sorry. Just looking on the top of my head, mate.
I mean, the Get would have known.
But, Belly, any from you? Any sort of standout?
I mean, I thought the exercise of picking the best Sandbach team was a great exercise, but it was difficult because you've got players in different eras, different games, different standards, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I should say my son, I suppose, but I mean,
good player, Gary, good player.
But when I played, I always liked guys on the side who, because it was a bit rougher in them days, as Paddy will tell you. And if someone was going to smack me, I wanted someone behind me who could actually, because I wasn't very big, who could actually look after me, you know what I mean? And there was a lot of guys I played with like that. You know, guys like Eggy, you want him in your team, you know? But I used to like guys who gave like 200% every week. You know, I mean, you look at Ross. I mean, every week he comes off the pitch, he looks like he's been 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. You know, I mean, he's got bloody lumps everywhere, and he does that week in, week out. You know, he never shirks a tackle. He's always at the bottom of rucks and balls. He always wins the ball, and players follow that sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's the sort of thing that binds teams together. But as a winger, I would go with the two we've got now. I mean, Leachy last year was bloody sensational. I mean, 200 tries in the first team. I mean, some games last year, that Pavers game away, it was untouchable. No one could get anywhere near him. And Elliot, what is he, about 8 stone wet through? I mean, he is probably pound for pound, you know, probably one of our best players. I mean, he never missed a tackle. When he pinches balls in the air from kickoffs and makes big forwards look stupid, that's great to watch. But every time he gets the ball, something happens. You know, and I mean, he is a great little player to watch. So I would. I mean, I could spend all week talking about the players we've had playing, but I think with the current standard we're at now, you know, there's a lot of the first team would be in, you know, probably an all-time team, and I just like those guys I've just mentioned. I think they're great, and they play every week as well, which is handy.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Belly. You know, Elliot is just amazing. How he can just score out of nothing.
Well, I say pound for pound, he's probably the best we've got, mate. I mean, he's 6.5 stone wet through and standing on 3 legs. I mean, he's just a bit of an enigma, really, isn't he? But a great rugby player.
Yeah.
Definitely. They're all Sandbach lads. Most of the ones you mentioned are all Sandbach lads.
He's that good, Thomas. It could be Welsh.
Yeah, well, you could be. But
and I've got to say, you know, I don't know who was at Burton away at the start of the season, and young Kieran Stubbs, again.
Kieran's another guy. You watch Kieran play, and he tackles everything. And he's another one that's what, I don't know, 5'7" and 9 stone or something. And you never ever, he's hanging on the back of a 18 stone bloody forward. You know, I mean, he's going to be a good player for a long time to come, is Kieran.
But it's good that Sandbach is again promoting that young talent. I know, we bring it through, but we give it a chance. We give the talent a chance when it's ready, not when it's a certain size. It's as soon as it's ready, give it a chance to develop. It's great. It's great to see, and a good second team or Saxon standard of rugby, good competitive rugby that is there, that these players get blooded in and work and go up and come back down. I would say, Butty, last season or the season before, that there was probably about 6 or 7 players that rotated between first and second team, if not more, and it was fantastic to see,
Yeah, I agree. It's important we have that pathway from the mini juniors through to our senior team. We're in a semi-pro league really, and for these youngsters to come through and do so well, it shows how well they've been coached to come through and how hard they've worked to get where they've got to. I mean, you look, the last 2 years we've had Andy's lad, Josh come through, Bish come through, young Stubby, Win Stanley. I mean, Monty a year or two before
Fiedel as well.
Yeah. I mean, we've got all these young players coming through to join an experienced core, and we've always got 2 or 3 players from outside coming in, which we always need, which is great. And so it gives us a really good squad, and it shows our mini junior section they can play. At 6 and 7 and 8, they can look at players who have done what they've done, and they can come through and play in our first team, which I think is really, really important.
Well, then Thomas, you mentioned all the guys that now play professional. You mix Will Cardle as well, but they've got all the shirts there. They all come back. Every time guys leave the club, I used to actually tell them, best of luck. Make sure you come back for a beer, which they all do. And the mini juniors can look up to that and see what happens. And also guys like Birdie, once he played about 350 games for the first team. I mean, over a long period, which takes a lot of doing. He's actually, his longevity, he's got it, hasn't he?
Committed, brilliant. What we want. It's proper Sandbach lad.
I'd probably say 99% of training sessions every year as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Brilliant.
Yeah. First to all the social dues.
Yeah.
I hope he listens to this now and buys me a Veltins.
I'll put a tag into the time with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, just that link. I think last season there was 6 or 7 players out of the age group that I coached in the senior teams, and that's from first to thirds, and then a few another 3 or 4 out of the year below that had been with us. So you're looking at 10 players there that are coming through, and it's good. It makes you really proud that you continue in that tradition of bringing these players through at all team level. It doesn't have to be first team. It's about having club players and club people.
Yeah,
I say
very much so.
It's massively important. If you have a strong third team, a strong youth team, you're going to have a strong first team. And like you said, strong second team, strong third team just builds an atmosphere, builds a clubhouse, and
definitely.
We'll start rounding it up a bit. So, Paul, do you want to give us a bit of a review on? I know we didn't quite finish how we wanted, but how this season sort of finished for yourself?
Well, I think superbly. I mean, as I said, first team was it 5th highest league position, second team promoted, and third team finished I think 5th as well, and in a promoted league. So really solid season. I mean, and we blooded a lot of youngsters into the first and second team. So senior teams, that went really, really well. So it was a great season. Plus, we've got a cup final to play sometime. Hopefully, we get to play it in September, October, whenever it is. So look forward to that. Mini juniors are thriving. You walk around on a Sunday morning, and it's just youngsters running around, smiling, parents enthusiastically coaching them. It's brilliant to see. The place is in a good place. The club's in a good place. It really, really is. There's always problems, as I said before, always issues to look after and work out, but we're in a really, really good place as a club.
Brooksy, is there anything, initiatives or anything coming up that you know of, or we're pushing for next season? Or just same old, keep on the...
Yeah, I think ultimately, you know, we're going to push to sensibly put events on at the club and work through. We've obviously got the new coaching structure in place. It appears that we've attracted a few players, so we're working through. But you know, initiatives like this that you're doing are fantastic, because I believe, you know, it was mentioned at the AGM that you know, the social media presence has got the interest of some of these players, and they're seeing what we're about. So yet again, you know, Sandbach is breaking the mould and attracting people that we probably other clubs wouldn't do. So no, it's great.
Yeah, well, thank you, Luke. That's great, because I mean, the view from the shed is brilliant. We all look forward to listening to it. It's been brilliant so far, and I'm not sure about this one, mind you, but
It was great. It was great before this one, yeah.
Yeah.
We're on the downward path now.
Straight in the barrel now a bit, I think, guys.
Yeah.
Mo, any updates on changing rooms or anything that, or from the management side?
Some more shelving put up, and you guys were going to discuss about probably getting us a porta cabin out the back for some physio room. I don't know. We need a bit more room, really. But apart from that, business as usual. Oh, I think the toilets are going to get done up, apparently, guys, aren't they?
That's next on our list.
Next on the list.
Yeah, we've already updated the disabled toilets now. We've put in new doors. We've done lots of investment, and we're considering more.
New drains.
Right, and then obviously Belly and Pat, I'll look forward to having a beer with you at 12 o'clock with Paul. That's when he said he buys the first beers on a Saturday.
12 o'clock,
I always do.
That? Where, 12 o'clock
Don't
where?
tell Belly.
Oh, yeah. Is that like home games?
Well, that's what he said.
Also, Paul, you need to mention also the bar staff. The bar staff are fantastic. Every team that visits always mention that all the girls behind the bar are really, really, you know, great. You know, and Jeff,
Yeah.
you know, Jeff's like, you know, so we have Gits in the corner and the girls behind the bar. And I mean, on Saturday, it was great, you know, to get back, see the girls again. It was, you know, they're great.
Yeah, they're fabulous bar staff. We're lucky to have them, I have to say, lucky.
They
So, yeah.
never stop, do they?
Well, shout out, Belly.
Sorry? Sorry, I missed that, guys.
They don't stop the whole day.
No, we don't. They work hard. I mean, they work hard. Even today, I've had Anna on a couple of times about different things behind the bar, and different beers. She doesn't stop. She's brilliant. Yeah, yeah. And the girls that work for her, brilliant. Really, really good.
Happy days, and yeah. Pat, any last words from yourself?
Yeah, well, when he talks about buying a beer, everybody knows I don't drink until after the game, you see. When you're professional and media duties, you know, you can't go slurring your words or anything. So.
We have to socialise, Pad, with the other team. That's why. That's what they say. We're a hospitable club.
Yeah, yeah, and because not only that, I've got to submit the score and all that sort of stuff, so I don't want to cock it up. So generally, a few beers after is the norm. You know, if I'm speaking as well, so got to be careful. But yeah, the only other thing I think we perhaps need to look at. I was down last night, just the forwards training. I think there's 35 forwards down training. You know, and there's 60 plus down at the players' meeting. You know, we're probably getting to a stage whereby we could do with maybe even running a further side, a bit of a social side. But you know, the Storm as a third team are still a good standard, and maybe there's a bit of room for what one could screw just social rugby. The old timers just wanting a bit of a run out as well. So maybe that's another thing we need to look at. Demonstrating, I think we're in a pretty good place. You know, a lot of sides that we play don't run more than a couple of sides. To be honest, you know that's how they are. Particularly the ones who pay a bit of money, but you know we're a slightly different breed than the few. To look forward to, I'd say.
Yeah, it's been a privilege, fellas, to have you all on tonight, and well, look forward to seeing you down the club soon, whether it's socially or with a game to watch as well. So yeah, coming on board.
Thanks,
yeah,
Luke.
well done, Luke. Yeah,
Great job, Bobby.
It's my bedtime now, Paddy.
I know.
Well done, Butty. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys.